Hello everyone, my name is Akasha Jain and welcome to my channel. In today's session, we will see single crystal preparation technique. So far, we have covered how to convert a amorphous silicon into polycrystalline material, and today's session we will see how to convert a polycrystalline material into single crystal material. So first of all, we need to understand why we are using particularly single crystal material in our fabrication. Why can't we use a polycrystalline or a amorphous material? So there is very important term here. The lifetime of a carrier in a single crystal material is a large than the polycrystalline or a amorphous material. So let's understand it in another way. So let's see, we have a moss here. This is the P substrate and this is our N type of moss. This is our source and this is our drain. Okay, and this is our channel. Let's make it in another color. So this is our channel. So if we have an electron here and it will move in this particular direction, and if the lifetime of a carrier is small, it might get recombined here itself, and there is a loss of this electron because of recombination. The electron and hole will recombine, and there it could not it won't reach to this particular point. So if it cannot reach to this particular point, so there will be no current in this MOSFET. So this is the reason we always need a material which have a high lifetime of a carrier. So let's see what is the principle behind the converting the polycrystalline into single crystal material. So in the single crystal material, we have a dangling bond. You can see here there are bonds which are uncompleted bonds. So if we somehow connect our atoms from the polycrystalline material to this single crystal material, so we are able to grow our single crystal material. So this is the simple concept behind converting a polycrystalline into single crystalline. We just want a polycrystalline sum of the atoms to get bonded with this particular single crystal material. So let's see what all are the methods for this purpose. We have two methods for this purpose. First one is a Kozolsky method, which is abbreviated as CZ method, and second one is a float zone method, which is abbreviated as FZ method. So in today's session, we will cover CZ method. So this is a typical diagram of a CZ method. So let's see, there are four parts in this particular method. First one is a furnace, under which we have crucible, susceptor, rotating mechanism, heating element, power supply, etc. And second part is a crystal pulling mechanism, in which we have a speed shaft, rotating mechanism, and then third part is a ambient control, in which we have a gas source and flow control and vacuum system, and then we have a control system. Let's see in the diagram. So this is our furnace, in which we have our crucible, susceptor, melt, and these are heaters. This is our seed shaft crystal pulling mechanism. This is a sheet shaft, and here at the last of the shaft we connect our seed. This is our control system, and this is our ambient ambient control. So here we control our vacuum. So this is the typical diagram. Let's see the each part in detail. So in a furnace we have a crucible. Crucible is a bowl shape of material in which we put our melt. So this is our crucible under which we put our melt. So there are some properties of this crucible. So the crucible should be highly resistive. So it should not react with this melt. Second point is it should have the high melting point, because to convert a solid quartz into melt, we need to give 1400 degrees centigrade. So it is very important that our crucible should not get melt. The third important point, it should be reusable and hard, of course, and the appropriate materials are fused silica and silicon nitride. The second most important thing in this furnace is a susceptor. So behind this crucible, we have a susceptor. The susceptor is made up of graphite. So what happen if we apply heat into this melt? There is a non-uniform expansion of this material. Due to non-uniform expansion, there could be breakage of this crucible. So we need some of the material which will absorb our extra heat. So here we use a susceptor which is used as a jacket to the crucible. So for heating purpose, we use two types of mechanism. First one is a RF heating, which is used for the small melt, and second one is a resistive heating, which is used for the large amount of melt. Let's see the crystal pulling mechanism. In our shaft, we attach our seed. So we can see in the diagram. Okay, this is our shaft. At the corner of shaft, we connect a pure seed, and we dipped in into the melt, and after dipping in into the melt it complete its dangling bond, and we will put it pull it out, and we will see there is a growth of a crystal. So in this whole mechanism we rotate our this system into one direction, and our crystal seed pulling mechanism into another direction, so that we can get the uniform growth of a crystal. So let's see in this diagram. If we dipped in a pure seed into the molten quartz, you can see the molten quartz is denoted with the dots. And when we dipped it out, we can see the growth of this crystal here. And the growth of the crystal, the diameter of the growth crystal is 1 to 2 mm per minute. So in this way, we can create a pure crystal of a silicon. What if we want to dope this particular silicon crystal? So we just need to add the impurity in the molten quartz, so we can get our doped silicon. So there is a segregation coefficient. So if we put some amount of impurity in our liquid form in our quartz melt, there is a from some portion of this liquid will form a solid impurity in our single crystal. So it is totally dependent upon the segregation coefficient. So if the segregation coefficient is large, then we can convert large amount of liquid impurity into solid impurity in our single crystal. So here one more formula is there to get the impurity concentration, which is Cs is equals to K naught C naught 1 minus x to the power K naught minus 1, where Cs is the solid impurity concentration, K naught is a segregation coefficient, C naught is the initial concentration, and X is a fraction of melt solidified. So these two formulas are very important for prelims point of view as well as mains point of view. There could be some numerical related to this. So that's it for today's session. Please like this video, subscribe on my channel, and stay healthy. Thank you so much.